What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Football Capital. Once again, I'm joined with Seb. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we did a video talking about fan channels and their impact on clubs and all that sort of stuff. Now, this is kind of a bit of a follow-up.
Yeah, something interesting has been happening.
Something has been interesting that's been popping up in the last couple of days. We all know Talksport. It's a big media outlet.
Yeah.
Talks about football, gets fans on the channel.
Got their pundits and all
Got
that
their pundits,
stuff.
journalists and all that speak about football.
We want you to watch this video.
So we're going to put this clip up for you, and then we'll give you our thoughts on what has on the outcome.
I'm not such a fan of supporters now being invited to press conferences, and I'll tell you why. I think journalists, the whole point of press conferences is that journalists are meant to bridge the gap between the fans and the club. So you hear what the club have to say. As a journalist, a trained journalist, you're meant to be impartial. You're meant to filter out the stuff, the PR-y stuff from the club, and you're meant to kind of give an unbiased view to the fans. And I think perhaps if you start getting fans coming in there, I do wonder about the quality of questions we might get. Perhaps that kind of thing. So I'm not so much a fan of supporters turning up at press conferences.
I think it's indicative of a societal thing that's happening at the moment, though, in that bloggers are journalists now, and Instagrammers are photographers, and it's kind of taken away.
The lines
from,
have become blurred, haven't they?
Yeah, it's taken away from what the professional thing is, and I think that's where my issue lies. Is that if you have a fan coming on asking questions next to a Jonathan Pearce or something who's been there for years, I'm like, well, why does your opinion hold the same weight? I don't understand.
So yeah. We've also just seen the clip. Now, before we go on what she was saying and that bloke at the end, whoever that was saying, they're referring to Flex from United Stand. Now, United Stand's a Man United fan channel. Now, Flex was invited to a press conference for the Astana game in the Europa League. He had his question, and I actually will get the question up for you now. This is the question that Flex asked.
Hiya. We've been really good in cup competitions this year, Carabao Cup and obviously Europa League. Do you feel that suits us where we're at right now? The cup competitions, do you think we can go far in them? Is that looking good for us right now?
I think
another player come through unscathed from injury today, Axel, done really well. Obviously, Lindelof's been playing next to Harry as a centre-back partnership. I mean, what sort of role is Axel looking to play maybe against Villa? Has he spent time with them all last year in the Championship and going forward in the season for Axel? What's it looking like?
he'll do the team talk, that's for sure.
He knows their weaknesses.
So,
last question.
Ollie, obviously, it's very important we get the win against Aston Villa. Failing to do that, I mean, looking at top four, is that still a realistic position for us to be finishing? Are we still looking to finish there regardless of the result on Sunday?
I think, or I know, we're still in November. We're 1st of December when we come to Sunday, and there's so many points to be played for and to be won.
Pretty fair question, I'd say. Pretty well spoken.
Pretty well spoken. And it's actually a question that
everyone wants to know.
Everyone wants to kind of know. And if you go back to what this lady was saying from Talksport,
can't even say her name. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of...
It's ridiculous. So I just want to say this. She says that journalists are meant to bridge the gap between the fans and the club. All right?
The PR stuff.
Tell me how that's the case when every single day we see news stories, made up transfer stories, rumors. This person's having a medical here. All right? You guys, as professional journalists, you're taking advantage of your responsibility and your access that you have to these clubs. And you think that it's not right for fans to come and word their...
Ask a question.
Not even opinion. It wasn't an opinion. It's a question. Yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
So
we've seen it. How many times has Mourinho lost it in a press conference and all these big managers lost it? Because you're asking questions that we don't even care about.
You're baiting for headlines and clicks.
And that's another one, with you journalists. And I'll never forget this one headline that like I wanted to literally hit my computer screen.
It makes you sick.
There was I think it was I'm going to guess, a 15 or 16-year-old kid, I think in Portugal, I think playing for Benfica. And I'm just going to paraphrase the headline because I can't remember it from the top of my head. The headline was, young 17-year-old scouted by Manchester United passes away on field. Something like that. Now, if you go look at this actual story, United wanted him when he was still like 10 years old or something. So you threw Man United's name out there just for the clicks. This is your journalists. These are
You're exploiting.
Just for the clicks, just for the revenue.
To get traffic.
Now, to me, that was a fair question that he asked.
Completely.
And then she talks about, she spoke about, or the other guy spoke about, why do our opinions?
Why should they matter the same?
Why should they matter?
Why should they have the same weight?
Like, are you serious for 1 second? There's players that are heavily invested in the game. They go to, let's say, for example, Arsenal fans pay the most out of any team in Europe for season tickets. And you got players week in, week out. They go and support their club. They pay money, whether they have to travel.
They live for the club. They live for it.
Just when I went to watch Man United, I watched 3 games. I booked my hotel, booked flights. Cost me almost $10,000 Australian dollars to watch my team.
We live on an island away from
just to watch
else.
my team. And you're saying because I am not a professional journalist, or I'm just a blogger, we're just a fan channel, that we can't have
an
our opinion, or we can't. If I was in the press conference, I can't ask a decent question about my club.
Yeah.
I don't want to know about.
And at the end of the day, the fans tend to know more about the history of the club than the journalists who are just writing for a club.
Even some of the pundits. Even some of the pundits.
The difference between all this that you see on YouTube and then what you guys on Talksport are doing, we're doing this because we love it. You guys are making your money and you're doing it any way you can.
Yeah.
All right. Question the integrity and the authenticity and the quality of questions being asked by the fan channels and stuff. You guys have no right. You aren't doing your job. We're gonna do it for you.
That's 100% correct. 100% correct. And just on a follow up from another Talksport journalist or pundit or whatever he wants to be called, yeah, Simon Jordan. Now he's called out AFTV, which we all know, Arsenal Fan TV. He's called out Troopz about everything that they do on their channel.
Listen, Arsenal is a great club in lots of ways, right? But it's also a club that has some real challenges at its heart, right? This Arsenal Fan TV phenomenon, I think I loathe it. I don't agree with the sentiments behind it. It only seems to thrive on misery. People have their own minds, and people can work out their own minds. And you'll always have the vociferous minority that don't represent the majority. But you look at it en masse, and you look at the Arsenal Fan TV, which is a commercial venture, which the guy that runs it makes a fortune out of, by the way. And you look at that and say, it only thrives on toxicity. It only thrives on people not being successful. It might profess to want people to be successful, but seemingly bad news sells in society, and Arsenal fans seem to be, susceptible to that. If you've got this rise of the things like Arsenal Fan TV because you just described a particular character, and hearing from him more than you hear from the manager, that also might mean that the club's got to communicate better to try and negate that channel, try and take that channel out of circuit.
Look at Arsenal Fan TV. What is the average age of the people moaning and groaning on it?
Danny,
Under 40,
I have to be honest with you, I wonder what the average IQ is. Well, I listen to it sometimes rather than what the average age is, but that's a different discussion.
Oh, well, I find it very entertaining. Obviously, only when they lose, of course, because it's rather dull when they win. Everyone's just kind of going, "Well, I told you so."
Told you so. Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Happy to move on.
He's a former owner of Crystal Palace. Yeah. Now he's owned the football club, and I think they were almost in administration. So you couldn't even do that for a job, and this guy's trying to be an expert in football, right? Like. How many, and he gives a lot of stick to AFTV about what they do after the games and the comments they make on players and on performances and all that. And he's pretty much said the same thing. Why does their opinion matter? Like, who are they? So are you telling me these people, these fans that pay their money to go to these games, are just supposed to sit there, cheer their team after the game, just be quiet, that's it, we can't say anything.
Wait for the next one.
That doesn't sit right. And I think he was questioning one of one of the hosts goes, "Oh, what's the average age of these players?" And he's like, "I want to question their IQ." They know more. Yeah, they know more about their club than you do. You don't even watch probably Crystal Palace. How many Crystal Palace games have you actually been to? And actually, Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV had done a great video to respond, and I'll get that video down in the link below. Right?
Check it out.
It's just like, you know what it is to me. To me, it's more people are going to these fan channels for information from the club than they are to these pundits.
Look, they don't like the direction it's going. This is all their own doing. The unreliability of the stuff that they just spew out there, it's crazy. It's every day it's getting crazier. Just whatever's the biggest headline. The point is this: we don't believe the things that you're saying anymore. The fans, they're going to go somewhere else for the information. If you guys want to stop that or change that, you got to pick up your game. It's pretty simple. That's all there is to say.
Yeah, and you're saying things like, "Oh, they're making revenue. He's making revenue from their failures."
Yeah.
Don't watch them. Why are you watching them? You're contributing. If you don't like that, you are contributing to their revenue, if you want to call it. the reason why 1 million people are subscribed to AFTV is because their opinions matter. They're the match-going fans. They go to games week in, week out, in the cold in Russia, in the hot, wherever in Spain,
Wherever it may be,
wherever they may be. They go to friendlies that are irrelevant games that are not even shown on live score because they're that irrelevant. They go to Dubai to watch a training match. This is the fans. What do you guys do? Where do you guys go? Like you were saying, rubbish headlines just to get the clicks week in, week out. If you have a problem with what these fan channels, or even, you know, I don't know, we can classify ourselves as a fan channel if you want to say that. Why? What my opinion doesn't matter at all.
Press the X up here if you don't like it.
Press the X,
Right there,
yeah.
right there.
Stop contributing.
Subscribe first.
Subscribe,
but
and then
X
you can
after.
go. But it's just ridiculous, and like, and even we got. I called out Lucy Zelic, which is a SBS host in Australia, about giving stick to Troopz about the way he talks and all that, yeah?
the
And she
pronunciations.
blocked us, yeah? You blocked us from Instagram. Do you know what? Let me tell you that. You can block us all you want. And you were laughing about the way he speaks. Troopz is a commentator on FIFA 20. So how about that? Yeah, how about that? Where are you? And you're irrelevant. Yeah, no one really cares why you pronounce names properly. Congratulations. That's about all you do. What Troopz and what these other fan channels, Full-Time Devils, United Stand, all the Chelsea ones and all that. I'd rather listen to what they have to say for the match-going fans than what any of you have to say. That's my opinion on this.
That's it.
You guys can keep burning about how successful these fan channels are, and you know what? They're gonna keep on growing with or without you, and you better keep up, or you know you're gonna get taken over if you're not already.
Maybe we'll interview one day.
Yeah, we'll interview you, get your opinion. Now, guys, once again, let us know what you guys think about all these fan channels and all these media outlets, and let us know what these fans had to say. These journalists, these Talksport people had to say. And do you agree with them? Do you agree with us? Do you agree with fan channels? Seb, once
Let us
again,
know.
before we lose our heads,
Oh.
thanks for joining me. And guys, we'll see you next time.